Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video we are going to be talking about the CPU capacitors. You always find in the motherboard, you always find some capacitors that are so many on the same position, in the same place. When you check out this one, you see that there are so many capacitors here, so many of them. See them, there are so many of them here, and then you always see them in other motherboards. They are always at the same position, packed like this, the same place they are packed. They are CPU capacitors because if you check on the other side, you also see the CPU, which is there. And now, these capacitors, they have a low resistance. They have a low resistance. Why? Because first of all, if you check the capacitors, you'll see that they are as if they are beeping. They are showing as if they are short, but they are not short. If you check them out, check it out. Check them. Let's check them out and see. Okay, check for example, you see that they have a low value, a low value. They are giving 1.137, 130, 133. Their value is very low. And if you want to check this one that are as if they are packaged, you don't check them from this side because this place is ground. You don't check them from here. This is where they are connected to ground. You check them at the middle. You check them at the middle. You see, this one is giving 133. 133, the other side. One three three. Check the other one. The other one. You see 090. On the other side, 090. It's not because the capacitor is short, but because of the low resistance that are connected to the CPU or from the CPU. That's why you see the capacitor is half short, but it's not short. Check it out. See this one 099. And when you check on the other opposite side, 099. Let's see these ones. You see this one 089. 175. So they have a low resistance. So when you are troubleshooting capacitors in the mother phone, like this one from the power IC, you should not touch these ones. You should not touch these ones that are at the side of the CPU because they may be showing as if they are short, but they are not short. It's just because of the low resistance from the CPU that makes them to be shorting. Because if you remove this capacitor and take the reading, you see that it will not be the same. The reading will be high. Now, why does these capacitors have a low resistance? They have a low resistance because that low resistance helps them to sense high current and high voltage that are going to the CPU. So it helps them to sense high current and high voltage that are going to the CPU and then quickly minimize it or turn off the phone. Because if they have a high resistance, they will not be able to detect high current and high voltage that are going to the CPU. That's why they have a low resistance so that they can easily detect high current and high voltage that are going to the CPU. Because the CPU is a very sensitive component and can easily be damaged. That's why because of that, these capacitors, you can hardly find them shorting. You can hardly find short in this area. Hardly find the short in this area. So when you're troubleshooting, try not to touch these capacitors. You have to focus on the side that deals with high voltages, with high voltage, like the power side and the other side. And then if you see this coil, you see that this coil are also connected to these capacitors. You can see the line. These coils are bringing voltages from the power IC. They bring the voltage and pass it to these capacitors so that they can dictate and regulate the voltage that is going to the CPU. And these coils here, these coils are called, or these inductors are called buck inductors. Buck inductors. Because why? They they filter the voltage, that is, they reduces the voltage and then increases the current. They are called buck coils because they reduces the voltage from the power IC that is going to these capacitors to the CPU and then increases the current. So that because the CPU does not need a very high current, a very high voltage in order to function. So these capacitors are there to minimize that current and that voltage that is going to the CPU in order for the CPU not to be damaged. So in most cases, when you have a short in a phone, this side likely may not have the short. It's likely not to have the short. The short may mostly come from the power side, like the power, this capacitor from the power IC, and then here you go where you can see the charging IC, the power IC, and then also from the charging IC, because those are the places in the phone that has bigger capacitors. You also have the backlight section. Also have the backlight section. Like in this mother phone, you see that this is the backlight. You see that there are bigger capacitors here. So when you are checking for shorting, you have to go to the power section and check for those capacitors that are shorting. You check for the capacitors here, on this side, but and on this side, this is the audio IC, and this is the charging IC. You see, this capacitor, you have to check for shorting from them. Try to avoid these ones after this coil, even this coil from this coil itself. Try to avoid this part, these capacitors that are here. So that will be that okay for this video. And if there's something you don't understand, you can message me on the comment section, and I will respond to your question. And please like my videos and subscribe to my channel so that these videos can go to other people. Thanks, and see you in the next video.